On the next episode of Arne Talk, we'll be joined by supermodel, medical doctor, and the new Miss South Africa Supranational THATO MOSEHLE. Stay tuned! Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of Arne Talk in the year 2021. Tonight is actually a very special night for us because in our first edition, or our first episode for 2021, we're actually joined by a very beautiful guest. She is none other than Miss Supranational South Africa 2020, THATO MOSEHLE.
Hello, how are you, Arne?
All right, I'm doing well. Which part of South Africa are you? Are you in Johannesburg?
Yes, I'm in the central part of South Africa. It's Joburg now. It was a beautiful sunny day. Now it looks like it's going to rain, so we'll see.
Now, we begin with our first question. Tell us about your experience winning Miss South Africa. As you know, as you're aware, you're one of the very few contests in 2020 that was able to stage, and it was a very good show. I myself is actually a fan, and you pull it off. It was a very good production. So tell us your experience about winning Miss South Africa.
It was actually a beautiful experience. With the regulations, with everything going on, we had to really be creative. So I think because we were a smaller amount of girls, we're only 10 girls as opposed to the usual 16 for social distance purposes, we became so close to each other. We learned so much from each other. We got to shoot scenes that were pre-recorded for the actual show. So it was very nice in terms of creativity and production and growing as girls. I think it was interesting and a very unique experience that I don't think any other group will have the privilege to experience.
How was your winning moment? How was your winning moment? Tell us about that.
That was so beautiful for me because entering, you don't know what's happening. It's in the middle of a pandemic. You're just hoping for the best. And you end up being the first runner-up. For me, that was such a great achievement for me. I remember seeing my parents and how proud they were of me. So it was beautiful because growing up, you see Miss South Africa, you say, "Oh, she's so beautiful. Maybe one day I'll be there," and you actually get to experience one of your childhood dreams. So it was beautiful for me.
I must say one of the most empowered women in the world are actually in South Africa. You have your batch is actually the most competitive ones. One of the best, even Shudafatsi Musida, your Miss South Africa. She was really, really stunning. All of you were all fantastic. We're all great. I really enjoyed watching the show back here. Moving on with my next question. Aside from being a model, you are a medical doctor by profession. You just had your internship, I think last year. So how do you manage your time? Now you're a model, you're a medical doctor, and the new Miss South Africa Supranational representing your country for this year. So how do you manage?
I always say I love my life. I love the pace at which my life goes. I'm always doing something or planning to do something else. So which keeps me actually pretty organized because I know that I cannot be wasting time because I have an engagement later on. So I think I've always been multifaceted and very, very busy, even throughout varsity. While I was a medical student, there were pageants that I used to go through on the weekend. So I used to have to study extra hard during the week. So I think it's a matter of time management, but also understanding the value of time because you have so little of it. So I think it works pretty well for me. And I am going to act like this until I'm too old to. So yeah.
Let's talk about Miss Supranational, the contest in which you'll be participating later this year. By the way, I'm very close to Miss Supranational 2013, our very own Mutia Johanna Datul. If there's a chance for you to, maybe I could arrange something about that in the future. She was our winner in 2013. She's from the Philippines.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, maybe she could give you some advice. But going back to Miss Supranational, the format for the show is more of like the glitz and the glamour, the Victoria's Secret fashion show style. So with that kind of format, how will you impart your personality in the contest? And by the way, what are your preparations right now for the pageant?
Right now, in terms of preparation, it's only my personal preparation. So, in terms of analyzing the kind of person I am, the kind of brand that Miss Supranational is, and I think the mistake that I don't want to make is look at the reigning queen or the former queens and try to match that up or to try and beat that, if I can call it that. I just want to bring who I am, my authentic self, my personality into the pageant. And if it works out, it would. And I think I did that consistently throughout Miss South Africa. And it feels so rewarding when you're standing on that stage and you know that all you have given was yourself. So I think in terms of preparation, it's basically for me to see how I fit with the brand in terms of research, what it's about, what I can do from my side, but also to maintain who I am and my authenticity. I think that's what's important, and it will fit. I think people shouldn't feel like their personalities don't fit in certain spaces. Certain spaces just have to adapt to who they are.
My next question is actually very, very timely. Do you think beauty pageants are still relevant nowadays? Well, it's actually the common question, but really, do you think beauty pageants are relevant nowadays?
I think they are. They are definitely relevant. Relevant for the person entering the pageant and also for the community watching. Because for the person entering, they go through a journey of this self-discovery, self-growth. I can testify, and all 10 girls can testify, win or lose, you leave a better person, better equipped, better confident in who you are, and in the way you think about issues of society, you're just better. And in terms of people, I think when people are watching beauty pageants nowadays, they're actually hearing that we have a strong message to pass. We have substance to talk about. We are empowering each other and we're inspiring the youth. And I think also for young males to see women taking up positions of leadership, taking up positions of empowerment is very important. So I think in this current climate of COVID-19, especially, beauty pageants are more relevant than ever because people are hopeless, people are tired, they need something positive to look forward to. So I think pageants, I can say 1,000 reasons why pageants are relevant, but I'll stop here.
But in relation to that, what are your thoughts on the people thinking negatively about beauty pageants?
I think people just speak from the point of their own personal experience or from a point of ignorance of not understanding. So I think you should just find out why does that person think like that and show them that there's so much more to pageantry, so much upliftment that comes with it and empowerment. And people will actually change their thoughts. My father being one of them, he used to be like, "Oh, why do you want to walk around in a panty on stage?" I'm like, "No, father, it's not about that." And I think now he can see that it's actually built me as the woman today. So I think people just have their own experiences and then they speak from that point. So you just show them a different experience.
That's a very nice one. Very profound answer. Now, the first thing that comes to our mind when we talk about South Africa is, of course, the great Nelson Mandela. Well, Nelson Mandela, as you're all aware, is your former president, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and one of the greatest South African of his time. What do you think is the best lesson you've learned from the late Nelson Mandela?
I think his entire life is just a lesson. It's a lesson of perseverance. It's a lesson of, forgiveness and starting over and moving forward as a nation. I think because of him, we are in positions that we are today. I know he valued education. He said it's a powerful tool to change the world. So I personally have ran with that. I value education because I understand not everyone has access to it. But I know that when you are educated, you become empowered, not just academically. When people hear me say education, they think we all need to be nerds reading books. But no, you need to equip yourself with a skill or a set of knowledge that someone else maybe doesn't have that you can help them or improve society. So I think for him, just what his life stood for is an inspiration and it's just so powerful.
Yes, he is actually an inspiration to everyone, actually, with the rest of the world. So I get to know him as well in history, and of course, well, he has lived his life fully. Now,
Yes.
moving on to the next part of our interview, this is the Q&A round. Let's think of this like as a beauty pageant portion. Q&A
Okay.
round. But you have a time limit in answering the questions. I prepared questions for you, so I hope you'll be able to. I know you can pull it off. So here's the first question. If you were God for a day, how would you change the world?
I would eradicate poverty.
Because?
Because a lot of the times you would find that poverty is the, you know, in medical terms we always say you need to treat the cause of the disease, not the symptoms. So we see a lot of symptoms of poverty. We see crime, we see lack of education, we see people dying of hunger. So I think if we deal with the root cause of most social issues, we'll deal with the symptoms.
Oh my God, you answered it very well. You nailed it off.
Okay.
Next one. If you had a chance to discuss a social issue with world leaders, what issue would it be
It would be
and why?
free, yes, it would be free and equal education for all. Like I said, a lot of people would applaud me that, wow, Tatu, you're a doctor. But I understand that it was because that my mother was in a position to be able to pay for school fees for me. But there's someone with the same potential out there in a village somewhere in the world who will never become, you know, have the opportunity to tap into their potential just because of their circumstances. So I think if education is free and available for all, then people would be liberated to tap into their potential and actually see how far they could go.
Yeah, I just mentioned about you being a doctor in the medical profession. Not all doctors would become beauty queens. So it's actually very impressive. Well, even here
Thank
in the Philippines, very few of that join beauty pageants in the medical profession. So it's very, it's a very good thing that coming from, from South Africa, that you have that empowering women joining beauty pageants. It's very relevant, if I may
I
say.
think so.
Moving on, does a woman sacrifice more than men, and
I
why?
think, yes, I think women used to sacrifice more than men. Growing up, you see women behaving in a way that was acceptable to men. And I think nowadays women are behaving in a way that is acceptable to themselves. So a woman, I know women are getting more opportunities, therefore they are becoming more empowered. Therefore, they don't feel the need to impress anyone other than themselves or, you know, their home family. So what I'm saying is that women are not compromising anymore. And I love to see it. And I think men should start accepting that women are not going to give more just because of their gender.
Has personal interaction taken a back seat because of social media?
I think personal interaction globally has improved. The fact that you are interviewing me, you're in the Philippines, I'm here, is incredible and it's so beautiful. But at the same time, when people are with their loved ones, they should refrain from trying to reach out to people who are far away. It's okay when you're alone and you're bored to see what other people are doing. But when you're with your loved ones and the people surrounding you, take that time to spend with them. Like sometimes just have a box to put all the phones there and then look at each other and talk and have real conversations.
Now, moving on with our fast talk, just a very quick one. I also prepared questions for this. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Creative, funny, and authentic.
Who is your international, or if I may be very specific, who is your Hollywood or European celebrity crush?
As of recent, like a week ago, it's Reggie Jean, the lead, the Duke of Hastings in the series Bridgerton. He's just so beautiful.
I kind of relate to that, and especially with my friends and everyone in the Philippines because we've seen the series. I think that was before Christmas, or it was premiered
It
before
was on
Christmas, and
Christmas, yes.
I watched it actually just before New Year, and I really enjoyed the time. You said Reggie Jean, right? He's a
Yes,
Zimbabwean British actor.
yes.
Yeah, he's very handsome, by the way. He had a very good role. He was so great there. Because you just mentioned Bridgerton. Have you also seen Emily in Paris? Just very quick.
Yes, I have. I have watched Emily in Paris.
Because this was during the time of Miss South Africa. The contest for Miss South Africa was still ongoing. Yes, and
I somehow,
you were able to find the time.
yes, I somehow found the time. When you really want to do something, you will search for the time. Even if you are in the shower watching, you will search for the time. So yeah,
So do you like the character of Emily?
I love her. I feel like she's like me, just going into Paris alone like that. I would do something like that.
Have you
So
been to Paris?
no, I just said I would, but I haven't been. I've
If,
only been to Bali.
it's very near the Philippines, actually. When you go to Paris, would you want to meet someone like Chef Gabrielle?
That would be nice. Only because I like food. But yeah, that would be nice. Nothing else. No other reason.
No other reason, no other
No
reason.
other
Okay.
reason.
Okay, aside from those shows that you've mentioned, what is your favorite international television show?
I love Jane the Virgin. Jane the Virgin. That was really nice because I watched it with my mother. So it's special because, yeah.
What is your beauty tip?
Is to take care of the canvas, which is the skin. So drink a lot of water to make sure that in whatever way you glow from inside, even if you wear makeup, even if you don't, if your skin is well taken care of, then I think beauty is always there.
I always do that. But yeah, I think I'd learn to do. Drink more water. We're down to the last three questions. The world is listening or the world is watching right now. How will you promote South Africa to the rest of the world?
I would say South Africa is a beautiful country. Often, like, I think, I don't know if other people from other countries do this, but there are days where I'm just like, I'm so happy that I'm South African because of the people of South Africa, how kind and how resilient we are. I think we have so many struggles, but we are able to overcome through our resilience and our sense of humor. You should see the jokes we make about serious issues. It's like actually very funny. And also the land itself, I think, is beautiful, the landscape. If people want to visit South Africa, I think they should start Johannesburg, Cape Town, Mpumalanga. There's so many beautiful, natural, existing, you know, land that can be seen by people. But most importantly, the people of South Africa. I think I'm a good representative of the average woman of South Africa. So if you meet me and you like me, then you should visit my country.
The greatest lesson that you learned from this pandemic?
Is really to value the time that you have with your existing loved ones, because I think the pain of the pandemic is the fact that it takes people away so suddenly. So I was also my uncle just suffered from COVID and passed on, and it was that thing of me thinking back on the times that I valued with him. So I think you just value the time with your loved ones now, not to say everyone is going to be wiped out, but it's always important to be happy and content and give the person who you are with the love that they deserve right now.
Finally, final words to your fans watching right now.
I would say thank you so much for supporting me. Social media can be really ruthless sometimes, and to see a positive message or a DM or a comment from someone who's cheering me on or telling me you're doing well, that's really great, because the journey can be tough sometimes, and those are the moments that make it worthwhile. So thank you so much for supporting me. I love you all, and stay safe.
Do you get followers from the Philippines after the
Yes,
show?
I actually do. I get
Oh,
people messaging me, hey, I'm from the Philippines, or hey, love from the Philippines. Hey, I love your personality from the Philippines. I'm just like, wow, it's so beautiful. I think
we
the most of my international fans are from the Philippines.
we take pageants very seriously, so
I
I think that's where
see.
we are one of the biggest pageant fans in the world. We are actually the biggest, if I may say,
You are.
the
Let us
biggest
give you.
audience.
You are.
Next week, we will have our interview, of course, to your Miss South Africa, Shudafatsi Masida. Let's just describe quickly your friendship with Miss South Africa.
Uh, it's so beautiful. I think it's really real, and it started from the beginning of the journey. I just remember there was a time I shared a meal with her, and she and I just instantly connected. We started sharing life stories. We started sharing deep thoughts, and I think it's so beautiful to see that at the end of the day, even when she was called Miss South Africa, I was so happy for her because of the genuine sisterhood that we shared and the moments that we shared praying for the right thing to happen or praying for God's will to prevail. So I think me and Shuru are real examples of what can come out of a pageant. Because, pageants, sometimes you feel like every girl is catty towards another girl because it's their competition. But you can actually form such a strong and beautiful bond that can go for years beyond the pageant. And I think that's the relationship I have with Shuru. And yeah, she's just amazing.
Before we go, I would just like to thank the Miss South Africa organization for this opportunity to have you with us tonight for this interview. You're very, very gracious. So there you go, guys. Please support Tato Mosehle,
Yes.
Miss Supranational South Africa 2020. She will be competing in the Miss Supranational pageant later on this year in Poland. So please support her and all her journey throughout the pageant. So there you go. Thank you so much for your time,
Thank
Tato.
you.
It's been a pleasure with me.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. As we say it here in the Philippines, maraming salamat. That's how we say thank you.
Maraming
Very-
salamat.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day. Have a great day. And I'll see you soon. I'll see you in Poland. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.